and gentlemen, Vince Everts.
Oh. Hi, guys. Yeah, it's a little bit of a way with the Segway from Holland, but I'm enjoying it. So, this is an interesting example, the Segway. I bought it 5 years ago in the Netherlands. And if we're talking about innovation, this is an interesting piece, because I was illegal in the Netherlands for 5 years by buying this product. You know, because the first reaction people have when they have a new product, it's forbidden. It's not allowed. And this was a great tool because you know, our cities are polluted, there's a lot of trouble, and this is a great thing. Actually, this, I think, stands for how computers are going to be in the next 10 years, because you know, they're going to be 100 times faster. And this thing is so wonderful. If you think you want to go forward, you go forward. It's wonderful. It's connected to my brain. If I think I want to stop, I stop, and if I think I want to go backwards, it goes backwards. It's a wonderful thing. This is how computers will be in 10 years when they're 100 times faster. They will understand what I mean. They will know what emotions I have. They will see what kind of mood I'm in. They will understand my body, but they also understand my mind. You know, that's what we'll do with the 100 times faster computers. But to be able to use that kind of stuff, it's a pain in the butt, because governments just say, forbidden. This is not allowed. And I think still 40 states now allow them, but still there's a bunch of places where it's forbidden. And you see that with all the new innovation. And that's what I want to talk about today, about innovation and new things. And the difference between corporate IT and our life as a consumer. Because I've been a reseller for 10 years, and I made tools for resellers, and I've noticed that inside corporate IT, life is boring. You guys are the cream of the crops. You are the biggest innovator. You are the most wonderful people. You say yes to all the time when somebody wants something. But inside corporates, ICT is a pain in the butt. Nothing is ever allowed. They always say no. And as a consumer, you can do everything. There's all these new stuff. And I would say, let's, in the next hour, look at the consumer and get inspired about that's the thing we need to get done in the next 5 years. So I used to work with Bob when he created tools on the AutoCAD world. And I made our document management software. And we sold it a couple of 100,000 times. We went all over the place, and it was wonderful. And Bob was always extraordinarily nervous as a speaker. It was very interesting. And so yesterday, Bob Goodgard, Autotask CEO. Okay, couple of hours before it starts, how do you feel?
I feel excited, exhilarated, and can't wait to get going.
Oh, aren't you nervous and nerve-wracking, and is it going to be right? Come on, I mean, you can't all be really self-assured.
I am as nervous as you could believe.
Are you looking forward to the presentation tomorrow morning?
Oh, I can't wait to get up in front of several hundred people. Several hundred people, oh my God!
He was not in the mood. He was getting, oh my God, I have to do this. But I think he did pretty well. Did he do well? Because Bob is really somebody, when he gets his mind to how an industry is going to change, how a business model is going to change, how people are going to change with the product, he doesn't give up. He goes in years and years and years and years until it works. And the fact that you're sitting here with 400 people is a proof that some of his vision is really right. I mean, Bob always has lots of ideas per minute, so not all of his ideas are right, but he is always on the right track, and I think with Autotask, he's doing a fantastic job. So I am now not anymore a reseller. I'm not a service provider. I don't sell products anymore in this industry. I'm a trend watcher, and I basically look at what technology does to the business and what does it do to the way we play, we work, we govern ourselves, and in the enterprise. And so I write about that. I do television programs about that, and I'm excited about how the technology is changing. But in the end, I think it goes really slow. I think the rate of change is unbelievable slow. And a lot of times, I need to go to all kinds of other places to get inspired. For example, if I wanted to be inspired about healthcare, and I went to India. I went with 50 people to India, all the Minister of Health and all the directors of big hospitals. And we went to India because their healthcare is being built up from scratch. It's not all the old legacy, it's new stuff. And they do things way more efficient. They have the same kind of technology. They just organize it differently because 400 million people went from being dirt poor to middle class, so they started to be able to afford healthcare. In China, you saw the internet going from 20 million to 300 million people. And there's no old legacy. There's no Windows system. Everything is web-based. Everything is anywhere, anytime, any place. They're using mobile phones for everything. They're using video for everything. The old stuff is not there. They're accepting change like there's no tomorrow. And it's great to go there and to see some of these examples. And I also do things like try to innovate the industry to some digitally challenged people. So this is our Prime Minister of the Netherlands, and I gave everybody a BlackBerry in the government, and it changed the way they make decisions tremendously. It's really interesting how that works. So, and of course, nowadays I'm very interested about video. Video is the most fantastic thing which is going to the internet. So I take my camera everywhere and I interview. So I'll also interview a bunch of people from you. So like I did with the CES or something like that. It's a really interesting thing. Video is really changing the way the internet works. And I think it also comes to this industry. Of course, I'm also an entrepreneur. So I also started my own company again. And that company is called Yubby. And I hope that you will like that. I will give you a little demo in a minute. And Yubby is a way that you can find videos in lots of different places on the internet. Doesn't matter if it's from Google, from YouTube, or from MetaCafe, everywhere. You can find videos for your purpose and put them in a channel. For example, all the videos from Autotask. Or why is Twitter useful? There's a lot of videos on that. Or why South by Southwest, the most interesting speeches about new technology, which just was there in Texas, of anything about Lou Armstrong if you're interested about that. But now I'm going to talk about where this whole thing, how the consumer is now using technology and how is he adapting and what can we learn for the next step in our business. Since we have Web 1.0, it went very fast, especially when broadband came to the stand. It was very popular. In Europe, we've become very big adapters of that. In the Netherlands, 80% has broadband. It's very cheap. It costs about $10, $15 or $20, something like that. In Moscow, it's $10. 85% of Moscow is connected. It's really unbelievable how fast that goes. The average speed is 10 megabits, but I was in Korea and Japan, and there they have 50 megabits average speed. Also, the price doesn't go up, but high-definition video flows through the veins. In America, it's interesting, it's now 4 megabit, and you have to pay twice as much. And I think I'm really excited that Obama also started a plan to say, hey, we need broadband accelerated. We need broadband accelerated. We need more competition, because a lot of times here in America, you only have a couple of places where you can buy it. It's extraordinarily expensive, and it needs to get better. But in this 10 years, the amount of hours that people spend is unbelievable. And in our country, it's 45 hours, it's 1.5 hours a day. The youth is already doing 2.5 hours a day. They're doing it more than television. And we're now, in the Netherlands, we're now the leader in broadband. It goes really fast, really quick. And it's going through the industry like a knife. The consumers are using it left, right, and center. Businesses who are forced to go with it. Because, you know, inside ICT, it's really difficult because you have privacy, you have security, you have the old way of doing things. You have a lot of of course, not in America, but in Europe, you have everywhere innovation prevention teams, which basically say, we are not going to innovate because that's not going to work. 90% always fails. Who's going to pay for that? Where's the money? There's all these, where's the privacy? Where's the security? And the end result is that change is an amazing slow pace. But not in the consumer side. In the last 5 years, we went from 7 minutes internet to 1.5 hours. Newspapers are dying. Magazines is down to about 20 minutes a day, and people are only looking at the pictures and throwing it away. I mean, this old media is dying really quickly. And it had big impact on the business. I mean, and I can go through all the businesses, but I have a couple of examples of where some industries which were the most successful adapting to it, where they're standing now. And for example, the travel industry. Everybody is doing it themselves. 80–90% of the industry from airlines is now coming from the internet. And all these websites, everybody is now perfect in transaction. If you do not know how to transact, you're dead in this industry. So they learned that the hard way. And all kinds of interesting new places started. Like, for example, Booking.com. Did anybody ever use that, Booking.com? teeny little website does $3.5 billion in sales. Was started by 2 Dutch students in Delft. The stupid guys were, I mean, that's us Dutch. We start something like that. We make a nice website, and we sell it for $100 million to the American, who then build it into a $1 billion industry. That's just one thing we always do wrong. When an American comes with 100 million, we say yes, instead of building it up like the Google guys. So anyway, what's now so interesting in the travel industry? Transaction is perfect. If you're not, you're dead. But now it is all about how can we influence, where do people want to go? How can we influence this word of mouth into the word of mouse? Where